we're going to talk about turning down clients. I think this is an important conversation, and it's something that's really, really important to me. One of the reasons that I started realizing that I had to do this was through a lot of trial and error, and really realizing that my energy and my energy levels and how I was showing up as a coach was affected by the clients that I was accepting in. And so me being really, and I never really admitted this publicly. So are you ready? I can be a little bit empathic and I can be highly, highly sensitive. So knowing that my energy level um, really was affected by my client. So if you're, knowing that my energy levels was affected by the clients I was accepting in, I started to realize that, like, oh my gosh, it does matter who I allow in, right? And so that's kind of how it started, was just me being aware of my energy levels and my capacity. And there are clients that can drain us, right? And that doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's a great opportunity for you to say, okay, these are the types of clients that I am available to work with, and these are who are not. So that's the first step, right? Is really knowing that our energy matters and it will affect our ability to deliver and perform not only for that client, but also for the rest of our client roster. And so it's really, really important that, we have those boundaries about who is and who's not an ideal fit for us. Number two, I think is important is that, one, like, I sort of alluded to this, right? But one client who is really draining your energy can really kind of spoil the rest of the bunch, meaning it can affect how you show up for all of your other clients. It can affect how you show up in your life and everywhere else. And so really making sure that as you're thinking about who are the clients that I can really take on and serve, it also includes, like, who are the ones that I'm most excited to work with? Who are the ones that I'm really, really excited? What is the work I'm excited to do? So that is kind of like a two-way conversation. And I don't see that talked about as much online because it's all about, let's get all the clients. However, I think it needs to be both, right? We need to protect our own energy and we need to protect our ability to continue to serve clients. Like, I always talk about that in terms of profit and income, but I think it also applies here. When we have appropriate filters and barriers, we can also then take on just the best and then not worry about it leaking into everything else. The last reason why I think this is really important is because we want to make sure they are getting the absolute best service. Okay, so this goes back to my love for integrity and service. And I feel like if we take on any client just because they're willing to give us money, that does not necessarily mean that we are the perfect best coach for them. That doesn't necessarily mean that the thing that we solve and that we help people with is exactly what they need at this time. So, I love mindset work. I think it's a really important part of the work I do. However, if somebody is really, 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 really struggling in this department and is best suited to have a mindset coach work through those mindset blocks first, and then we can add the sales, the sales aspect of the mindset, the money aspect of that mindset, the go out and get a mindset. I'm all about that, right? But if they want to process something that is not exactly where my genius is, it's better for them to go somewhere else, right? And I am all about serving that person as a whole. So that might mean I might decline the client now, but they might come back later, right? And so I always leave myself open to that possibility. Or I've had it before where there's one person who she's tried to work with me several times. It just was never the right fit. Like, the thing that she wanted help with was not the thing she needed. And it just kind of kept going on like that. And so I referred her. She worked with somebody else. She came back and, was wanting to run Facebook ads, but it was not, she didn't have a funnel yet. And so we were like, okay, well, she already had a coach, right? And it's all of these things, right? For me to take money and to serve her, I wanted both of us to come to the playing field 100% ready, 100% committed, and ready to go. And in turn, she has actually referred to me so many clients because I was honest with her, because I was transparent with her. And it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it, because when you run your business like this, you don't know what is possible. And what is possible is way better sometimes than what we can even imagine. So that is, serving them at the highest level for what they really need right now. And it might not be me. So that is the why number 3. Okay. So how do we do this? How do we go about turning down a client in a nice, caring, loving, and supportive way, right? Like that is the question, right? And for me, it's always come down to honesty. I believe honesty is the best way to deal with any situation, and it removes all of this junk that can go around. So I usually just say, hey, it sounds like what you're needing help with is XYZ. My strengths are more in this other department. And so it feels like it's not going to be a fit for both of us right now. However, I can refer you to this person, or let me find out who I might refer you to if I need to go and do some digging and some connecting with people. And then I'll just refer them to somebody else. I won't usually leave them hanging. If they already have a coach and I'm like, well, it does not match here because you already have a coach who's working on this with you, then I'll just tell them to go with their coach, and I might send them like a podcast or something else as a reference. So that's essentially how I do it. I still serve them the whole time. How I can do this? How can I get myself to this place in my business where I can do this? And it's a couple of things. Number one, I have a business that has recurring revenue streams, and I have multiple streams of income. So I always talk about creating a sustainable business. There is not like one client that is like, if I don't keep this client, it's going to all fall apart, right? And so I run my business in that way. Number 2, managing the money inside of your business, right? So I could have all the money coming in and I could easily just be spending it all back out. Lastly is trust your gut. So I have this one client who every single time her gut is telling her not to work with somebody, or is just, it's not going to be a good fit. The universe shows her that she was totally right. Like the person will go off the handlebars and like attack her for whatever, or be upset, or in such a way that it's very apparent that her gut was always right. And so I think trusting your gut is an important thing of that. And also knowing, like I said, you never know what the possibilities are going to be on the other side of that, right? Maybe they'll refer you somebody who's the perfect person. Maybe they'll mention you in a Facebook group and connect you with somebody who's the perfect person for you. Or maybe it will just free you up to serve your existing client base better, and the referral will come from somewhere completely different, right? Or that extra client that will come from somewhere else. I also want to say, if you're getting a lot of these clients that are not a good match for you, if you're getting this happening in your business frequently or often, what I want you to do is evaluate your customer journey, right? So how are people finding out about you? What is your process of connecting with them and encouraging them to go over to your conversion events? And what does that process look like? And are you using the appropriate filters, right? Are you polarizing the audience and making sure that the right people are going through it and the wrong people are repelled by it, right? And that's it. Have an awesome day. Chat with you soon.